Learn every day for a better life. Welcome to this video on the art of improv comedy. Improv comedy is a form of theater where all of the dialogue and action is made up on the spot, without any scripts or pre-planning. It can be a lot of fun and a great way to improve your public speaking and communication skills. In this video, we'll be covering some tips and techniques for beginners who want to try their hand at improv comedy. Before we get into the tips and techniques, it's important to understand some of the basics of improv comedy. First of all, it's all about collaboration and listening. When you're on stage with other improvisers, you need to be listening to everything they say and responding to it in a way that builds on the scene. You also need to be willing to take risks and make mistakes. Improv comedy is all about being in the moment and not worrying about making mistakes. Another important aspect of improv comedy is the concept of yes and. This means that when someone says something on stage, you should accept it as true and build on it, rather than contradicting it or shutting it down. For example, if your scene partner says, "Wow, it's really hot in here," you might say, "Yes, and I forgot to bring my water bottle," rather than saying, "No, it's not that hot." Now that you have a basic understanding of improv comedy, let's dive into some tips for beginners. Start with warm-up exercises. Improv comedy requires a lot of energy and creativity, so it's important to warm up before you start. There are many warm-up exercises you can do, such as zip, zap, zop, or yes and exercises. These will help you get in the right mindset and start thinking on your feet. Focus on the scene, not the jokes. It's easy to fall into the trap of trying to be funny in improv comedy, but the best scenes often come from just playing the reality of the moment. Focus on building a strong scene and the humor will come naturally. Use physicality and gestures. In improv comedy, your body language can say just as much as your words. Use physicality and gestures to add depth to your scenes and make them more engaging. Practice active listening. As we mentioned earlier, listening is a key part of improv comedy. Practice active listening by paying close attention to what your scene partners are saying and responding in a way that builds on what they're saying. Embrace failure. Improv comedy is all about taking risks and making mistakes. Don't be afraid to fail, as some of the best scenes come from moments where things don't go as planned. In addition to these tips, there are some specific techniques you can use to be successful in improv comedy. Yes, and, as we mentioned earlier, yes, and, is a key concept in improv comedy. Always accept what your scene partners are saying and build on it. Play the game. Every scene in improv comedy has a game, or a central idea that you're trying to play. Identify what the game is and lean into it. Use your environment. In improv comedy, your environment can be just as important as your scene partners. Use the environment to add depth and detail to your scenes. Use status. Status is an important aspect of improv comedy, as it can create tension and conflict. Play with status by changing the power dynamic in your scenes. Stay in character. When you're on stage in an improv comedy scene, it's important to stay in character and maintain the reality of the moment. Don't break character or the fourth wall unless it's absolutely necessary. If you're interested in starting your improv comedy journey, the first step is to find a class or workshop near you. Many cities have improv theaters and schools that offer classes for all skill levels. Look up local comedy clubs and theaters, or search online for improv comedy classes in your area. Additionally, there are many online resources available, including instructional videos and books, that can help you get started on your own. The most important thing is to find a supportive community of like-minded individuals who share your passion for improv comedy, and to keep practicing and learning from one another. That's all for this beginner's guide to improv comedy. We hope you found these tips and techniques helpful, and that they give you the confidence to try your hand at improv comedy. Remember, the most important thing is to have fun and be willing to take risks. With practice and perseverance, you'll become a skilled improviser in no time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Subscribe to make your life better.